Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. It's the three-man front. Matt Childress and Roman Kelly edition today. Grant Skaggs is actually out of town right now. He might hop in here while he's in the middle of a travel, but possibly not. So right now, it's just Roman and I holding it down for the next hour, 5:30 to 6:30 here on the Big X, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. We appreciate you guys for listening in, whether it's live here on the airwaves, on the YouTube stream, on the X stream. You can find that at the Big X Sports Big X Sports Radio YouTube page, or on the Three-Man Front Twitter Spaces. Well, we're here. This feels weird. I'm used to, like, Roman's used to producing the show. I always get a little thrown off whenever we swap it up for a show here and there. So Roman is actually at home doing the show remotely. I'm starting it out. This is one of those where
This is the Romy Bean Studios, Matt. This is This is the Romy Bean Studios.
We're looking into where the Real Spill podcast really gets down and dirty and where Roman Kelly is at right now. So you just heard him on. He's obviously the co-host here every week, host of the Real Spill, owner of the Real Spill Podcast Network, host of Running with Roman, host of the Ticket Punchers. Roman, how's your week been so far, big guy?
It's been a good week. We've got some good weather out there finally, some consistently, like a real spring. It feels like 67 and sunny today. You can't beat that. But in terms of sports, reacting to the Kings, but feeling good about the Kings game last week, defeating the Defenders and wondering how they're going to get it done this week, watching Louisville basketball get things done, watching my Lakers get swept. It's that time of year, Matt. We're enjoying the spring football because that's the one team we've got on a win streak right now.
Obviously, this is a UFL Louisville King-based show, but I mean, Roman, it wouldn't be Matt and Roman talking if we didn't talk at least a little bit of NBA for absolutely no reason at all. I want the listeners on this show to get Roman's first take of watching his glorious king, LeBron James, get swept by the absolute worst team I've ever gotten to watch, the Oklahoma City Thunder. What was your initial reaction?
Well, by game 3, it was expected, unfortunately, but it's just tough to know that, you have a game plan that was working, but not enough good players to make it work for a win. At the end of the day, they're the defending champs for a reason. They're going back to the conference finals for a reason. They're that tough to beat because they've been here and they've done it while we didn't have our best player. So had to just kind of accept it as a year we're not going to be able to do what we want under Luka Doncic. Hopefully we don't have a lot of years where that's the case. That's tough, right? Can't ever feel too good about getting swept. But when it's the defending champs and they play the way that they do, Matt, it's I feel like the neutrals understand what's like the non-Laker fans and the non-Thunder fans that watch the series. They know what went down. They know what happened. They know that we improved throughout the series, but still didn't have enough due to the lack of depth without Luka Doncic. JJ, I can't say he outcoached Mark Daigneault when you get swept, but he showed that he's got what it takes to be a coach at this level, getting into the second round in the fashion that he did. That's just part of it. It's part of it, Matt. Barca losing 1-0 to Deportivo Alaves yesterday because, it's like as soon as they win, they know the league is locked up. They don't care
League's
what
locked up.
League's locked up. They don't care who they lose to.
Lamine Yamal's already on vacation. It's over. You don't got to worry about it no more. It's over. But
the Champions League's locked up. They're not even they don't even care anymore.
There was a little bit of worry that we might not have to worry about this team either after this weekend if it got ugly enough. There was obviously, if they lost this weekend, there was still a chance that they could make the playoffs, but they were on a major uphill climb. But they get it done. They get it done on the road. Kings beat the DC Defenders 30-13. Like I said, on the
11-point dogs, Matt.
Look, I thought the Dallas Renegades win was super surprising, obviously. Major turnovers in that game. You capitalized on them. Similar storyline for this game, but I mean, this was by far the runaway best team in the league. You beat them, stomped them out on their home field.
They didn't score in the second half of this football game.
Roman, should we just be banking on not winning any home game? Should we just be the away team for every game? Can we move tonight? Tonight. Can we move Saturday's game back into DC one more time?
I mean, what is up with that? Why do we perform better? Because it's not. I mean, you look at the what was it? The game? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Where it was empty in there a few weeks back. The Gamblers, right? It's not like we're performing when there's a home crowd. Like DC Defenders had a good home crowd. We're performing there. Gamblers had no home crowd, and we performed there. I don't know. It's like we just don't feel I think there's maybe a little bit of pressure knowing you've got this. Mm-hmm. Your most excited fan base back at home, right? Because those the non-new team, the other new teams, they haven't shown out like we have, and the existing teams, they've done it, right? They're used to this, and they're still not getting the attendance that we're getting. With that being said, I'm starting to feel like they want to win so badly that it's costing them in the little moments, right? The little things that they need to do well, that they've done well in away games, that they do well in practice. Those things haven't translated onto the field in home games, Matt. And I feel like it's partially because they want it. I can't say they want it too much because that's not possible in sports, but it's like they're focusing on the win more than focusing on the first down. Does that make sense at home games?
No, I mean, I think that completely makes sense. I think that they're playing in these – it's almost like the reverse version of college football or college basketball where when your team, who has a great fan base behind them, I think that Louisville football has a great home field advantage for a lot of times. A lot of ACC teams come in here, and you hear a lot of media personnel around that say that, L&N Cardinal Stadium is a really underrated stadium to play in. Same thing at Kroger Field. They always sell that field out for, big games in the SEC. But when those teams go and play in sleepy environments, your team just looks completely discombobulated. Like, it's almost too quiet in there. They don't like it. This team is like the opposite. They play in these quiet environments and they lock in defensively and offensively. And we saw that a lot in this game. I mean, you forced four turnovers in one of the most offensively sound teams in the league. And not only that, but the issue with it being this whole season is that, yes, we're forcing these turnovers. We're usually winning the turnover battle, but we're not capitalizing on it. But for some reason, in these hefty away games, we're capitalizing on it tenfold. We're really punishing these teams at turning the ball over. What do we have to do to kind of get that to translate into our home environment and give these fans something to watch for?
I think it has to happen early, Matt. When you look at the home games that we've had the opportunity to win, those we got going quickly. It didn't take an entire second half for us to make things happen. That week 3 game against the Kings, you scored early in that one. You should have had a chance to win that one. You look at that week 5 game, or I'm sorry, not week 5. Was it week 6? You didn't get going at all early. Battlehawks got to methodically, slowly beat you throughout that one. You've got to we need a 14-point first quarter. We haven't had one yet, Matt. We haven't imposed our will, especially not at home games. I think we've had the depth and our legs underneath us in the end of these games against good teams on the road. So it's an evenly based game at the end. We haven't had that we're going to come out there and we're going to beat you from start to finish mindset in our home games, or at least not in on the field in first quarter. So I think that's the first key. Get going early. Make teams adjust to you early.
I think I completely agree. It's one where it seems like in the games we have won, we've been more of a second half team. Barring the Houston Gamblers game, we had a really electric first half, really let them back into the game, unfortunately, the second half, but closed it out, did really well there. But yeah, in the Dallas Renegades game, your defense was big enough to close that out early and, kind of put a barrier between you and the other team. It seems like that's a common occurrence we're on the road is our defense is really having to step up and make these quarterbacks feel really uncomfortable. But it's something that you can't rely on week in and week out. You can't rely on 4 turnovers week in, week out, or multiple pick sixes to get a team in the dirt. You have to get it going on the offensive end, which I think in this game we did. Chandler Rogers had a fantastic game. Receiving wise, Chandler Rogers
even then, though, Matt, it took us till the second half.
It did.
Late second quarter to finally start getting some yardage, and then second half the scoring finally started for us.
How much of that do you weigh personally on the run game this weekend? Because this was the first game that we actually outrushed the other team. We had 130 yards? I had it written down. Sorry, 145 to 89. And this got going early. James Robinson was absolutely explosive on the line, breaking out for multiple big runs early in the game. He had that really disgusting spin move in the second half which broke out for like a 25, 30-yard run. And it seemed like every time the offense was looking to stall out, it was one of those situations where James Robinson just had a keen eye vision, found the hole he needed to hit, and made 1 or 2 guys miss to keep the drive alive. And when we played the Battlehawks last week, that was the complete opposite. We couldn't get a run game going at all. We had a few passes to Zach Davidson that, bricked off his hands, big drops in these moments, and we couldn't keep these drives alive early and gaining momentum. I know that the run game has not been consistent throughout the season so far. Do you think that a big game like this is something they can build off of and carry into this weekend? Being that it's the same exact team you're playing against back-to-back.
100%. I think you saw what worked for Chandler Rogers. You kind of lead into those things, try to I mean, I don't know the best way to kind of explain this, but try to do those things and hide them now. Add some misdirections, right? Add some things and some eye candy out there to get you into those plays that work for Rodgers, and then take some shots early when they're not going to be expecting it. Kind of going off the game plan of the second half, then boom, go with that long shot. Go with that jet sweep out of nowhere. I think you've got to just throw in a couple more unorthodox things you haven't done. I think Chris Redman's done a great job all season long of incorporating at least one thing each game that they haven't done in the last game. You're going to have to do that here. But I think Ian Wheeler getting going, Matt, getting that score, getting to like actually feel like the lead back for once, definitely did something to him. And then Isaiah Winstead showed that he's got, once his feet get moving, he can be one of the most dangerous guys on the field. I think you've got to buy into that. You got to buy into that. Get Wheeler going to the outside, get Winstead with a lead blocker, and watch what they can do. And then focus on getting yardage no matter what. That was the biggest thing here for us in this game, Matt. 21 first downs. Still, we're not nearly as good enough as we needed to be on third down. But luckily, we avoided as many third downs as we had in previous games. 2 for 11 on third downs. We do hit our only fourth down, which felt good, right? We lose the play battle, right? They have more plays than us, and we still had more time of possession. Seems like we're playing a little bit faster there than we.
They had almost 100 more yards than us.
Exactly. So you've got to take advantage of this clock that can be sometimes to your advantage, sometimes not with these UFL rules, and you have to be a team that can be balanced, that can pick a team apart from multiple ways. We can't just be the team that only picks people apart in the intermediate pass game. That's why we beat the defenders. We did it in all three levels in that second half there. You got to try to do that in the first quarter of this game.
I completely agree. This was one where the DC defenders look to usually, make those big play moments, kind of get you out of the game early, and we really shut them down. They had one big play moment here and there, but we didn't falter. We stuck in the game and then really put it on them in the second half. Forced Jordan Ta'amu into a lot of uncomfortable situations. We talked about it last week. He's a quarterback that is comfortable in the pocket. Their offensive line isn't fantastic, but it's good enough to give him some time, break down your defense, and be able to go through a few progressions, which we did very well in the first half. In the second half, we put the pressure on them. We played a lot more aggressive, played a lot more man coverage, got into the backfield, got a few sacks on him, obviously forced a lot of turnovers. It was one where you kind of put him in a situation where he had to go win the game. They couldn't beat you on the ground game anymore. You put enough barrier and you got enough momentum within the score lines and just, the actual momentum on the field that he had to go out there and win it himself. And honestly, he's a good quarterback, but he's not a guy who can go out there and make the big plays every single time, every single drive out there and win you a football game. They need to play closer.
He relies on his skill guys to make big plays as well.
Their big strengths are they have athletes everywhere. We talked about this last week. They have athletes all over the field. The Louisville Kings did a great job of slowing those guys down and getting the defensive line an opportunity to, get in the backfield and make him uncomfortable. But another piece was that I felt this was one of the better games by the offensive line we'd seen all season, if not the best game. Not only were you able to establish a dominant run game and allow your team to, gain some momentum on the ground as well through the air, but Chandler Rogers, there was plenty of plays where he didn't have to go scramble out every time. He wasn't having to dodge one or two guys before making a tough throw into a tight window. He had time in the backfield. He was able to go through some progressions. Do you think we have some guys coming back off the injury report, so that'll give us a little bit more depth of the offensive line? Is this something you think we can carry into the next game, or do you think that, this is going to be some film? The DC defenders are obviously going to make some adjustments. Is this something you think we can hold on to, or do you think it's a little one-off game?
I don't think it's a one-off, but I don't expect it to be massively better either. These guys are going to have to get back into the game plan. They're going to have to get back into the comfortability of the different things that they're going to do on the offensive line, which have changed in the last 3 weeks or so. So, I'm not going to sit here and say a page has been flipped. With that being said, Matt, if you can improve just marginally again from the way that you did last week, incorporate these guys into a few snaps instead of just throwing them back out there and relying upon them, I think that's the way to go.
Speaking of Chandler Rogers, everybody around the UFL landscape saw the hit that was landed on him in this game. What was your initial reaction to, if you didn't watch the game, if you're here listening to this for the first time, haven't gotten to see the highlights, this man got hit by a freight train in the backfield and got blindsided. I honestly, for a few seconds there, was petrified that this man was going to be out for the season with how hard this hit was on him. It was straight. It was, we got a really lucky call on it that it was, unnecessary use of the helmet to him, and that kind of kept our drive alive. And then he eventually, right after the hit, throws a strike into the end zone and scores a touchdown on this drive.
Immediately after.
What was your initial thoughts when you saw this hit?
When I first saw it, I was, like you said, I was scared. I thought it was going to be bad because the way his body jerked, it just, those kinds of
The dude had all 4 limbs in the air.
It looked like he might have gotten like whiplash, right?
Yeah.
And the way he kind of went down and looked like he didn't even really know what was happening was a little bit worrisome. He made the play though.
He made the play. He got right up. He didn't even come out. He just hopped. Like I was like, oh,
we're actually fumble. The ball got a little bit loose. Like
we're gonna see Mike
the dog. He showed why he earned that starting spot, Matt.
Did you see? They interviewed him yesterday, and they asked him about the hit getting ready for this game. Did you see the interview at all?
No.
So they asked him directly. They're like, "How did you feel about the hit and this and that?" And he came up straight up. He said, "Dude, that's a football hit. I love this sport. I do not like. That's just a part of the game. I do not mind it at all. It wasn't a dirty play by anybody. I love that my players, my teammates stood up for me. Those are my dogs." And he's like, and it fired me up. He's like, you saw it right after I got up, threw a strike to the end zone. We scored there. And after that game, he's like, after that hit, we just ran the table. Like not only me, but the players, like my teammates around me bought into it. We were all hype off of it. He's like, dude, that's a football play. I love it every single time. Like,
it's
interesting take.
I mean, the helmet was a little bit high, but it was clean. It went into the shoulder pad. I mean, that's what you want. That's what you want. This is spring football, Matt.
It's supposed to be like this.
Football. This is what we want, the nasty hits and those kids bouncing, not kids, but these players bouncing right back up and throwing touchdowns. This isn't the NFL. This isn't college. You're going out there and showing, either trying to prove that you can play still or going out there and trying to show the guys at the next level that, hey, look what you're missing out on. I mean, I don't know. Chandler's probably somewhere in between there, but I love this. I feel like that moment kind of embodied Kings football a little bit.
No, I mean, it 100% did. Like he took the hit, carried this team to a victory down right after that. I think after that touchdown, that was the immediate drive after where they forced the fumble on the kickoff and then scored another touchdown right on that same drive. I believe that's true. I bet he came in. I mean, this dude played a perfect game manager role, 17 of 26, 65% percentage, 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Clean game of football. Dude got it done on it with his legs as well.
I mean, just imagine you're down, like you're up 13-3. Then you're up 13-9. Then you're up 13-10, you're up 13-10. Then it's 13-13. Then you're down 13-20. Then you're down 13-26, and then you're down 13-30. Like it's just that offense and defense flipped a switch, Matt.
They did. It was a complete second half change for this team. This was also, I found this out today, this was the first game the DC Defenders had played where they did not score on their opening drive. They did. And the Louisville Kings held them to a 3-and-out.
We did. Why do we keep taking 3-0 leads in games? What is up with that?
I don't know. I think it's at this point, it's like a good luck charm where they're like, hey, we're going to, because we get into the red zone. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to score an easy touchdown. James Robinson hits 2 explosive runs, puts us on the 5, and then just stupid penalties and then a sack. Take us out of, red zone, and we're not good in the red zone this season at all. So Tanner Brown, obviously, automatic, kicks a field goal, go up 3-0. It's got to be some kind of omen. Like, we have to go up 3-0 in all of these games, but can we finish it out? It was scary. I thought we were out of this game early. After they had that jump ball from Jordan Ta'amu early for the first half to go up, I think it was to go up 13-3. I was like, oh, no, this could get ugly. This could get really ugly. The guys fought back.
Luckily, I tuned in like right there.
It was. I was nervous. I was watching the game because it came on right after my girlfriend's graduation, which I was out to that day. And we were having the graduation party, and I was with her and her family. And I'm sitting here with my phone up watching the game. They're like, "What is he watching?" I'm locked into this Kings game. I'm trying to describe to them why I cannot turn off a spring football game in the UFL. Because these are all out-of-town family that don't know what I do, right? Some of these people I just met for the first time. They're like, why do you care about this football game that only has 4,000 fans at? I'm like, you just shut up. I'm trying to watch the game, okay? I got to watch it. It's my job.
You don't get it. You don't get it. I have to. And I want to.
How have you felt so far? Because obviously it's come up due to, massive injuries at the wide receiver spot, guys being dropped off the roster. But the resurgence of Tarik Black is basically becoming our number one receiver on this team and Chandler Rogers' favorite target. I mean, he had five receptions, 49 yards, 9.8 average, and 2 touchdowns in this game. One of those absolutely mossing a dude on the defense for a touchdown to basically kind of solidify this game as a win.
Matt, you called this at the beginning of the season. You said this is one of the receivers you were most excited about. You thought he was going to be able to potentially be a game changer for us with his upside catching ability, his kind of deep ball threat as well. There's not really a weakness of his. And my thing is, after the catch, I think it's because you're going to become a quarterback's favorite target pretty quickly when you're constantly getting yards after the catch. As soon as they see a sliver of you open space, that's who they want to give it to. It's just an instinctual thing. So I think he has got the most potential for explosive plays, and you're going to give it to that guy the most.
And we're getting some help this week. The injury report for this week so far, I've only seen it up to Wednesday, I think it is right now. So Thursday today might change that. But as of right now, Trey McKinney did not participate. He is limited right now, so there is a chance that he could play this weekend as well. The wide receiver room is getting healthier, and with with Tarik Black kind of coming into his own, we have multiple guys with big playability in this offense now, and I think that's giving Chandler Rogers a lot more comfortability. You have Lucky Jackson, who's been the deep ball threat through most of the season, Isaiah Winstead, who's really been your, hey, there's nothing left, go up and get it kind of guy. And Tarik Black has looked like one of the best route runners on this team, like you said, who has that run after catch ability. So I'm really loving what I'm seeing out of this offense right now. It's just one, like we brought up earlier. Can this offensive line hold up?
Yes,
can they make the adjustments?
Give them the time to get downfield.
Because the dude, yes, he does get the ball out fast, but these are not NFL level quarterbacks. These are guys trying to get it back in the league. They don't have time to go through progressions. They need a little bit more help. Offensive line.
Not trying to make a fucking mistake. This coaching staff's willing to get rid of you if they think you're not getting the job done. So there's got to be a level of I know they love what I do, but I also want to keep doing what I do correctly, keep doing it to the best of my ability. And I think that half second. It looks like now back into the stream, and then
you're back.
Lost me for a half second as well there. I think that Tarik Black, he's shown that he can do it at all 3 levels. And then you've got these guys that are kind of weapon pieces in certain areas. If the O-line gives you time, Matt, we have the scariest pass game in the league. We just have probably like the second or third worst O-line. So it's tough.
We are getting Mike McAllister center back for this week. It looks like so far he was a full participant in practice Tuesday, and it looks like he'll be a full participant in practice the rest of the week. So there is a chance we get some depth in that old line spot. So that will be beneficial for us. Before we go to break here, I want to touch on the chat real quick. We have Zach Lee coming in with the Go Kings. He's ready for this weekend. I have a little plug for Zach Lee and the UFL Kings guys. At the end of the show, we'll get to that a little later. But then we have your co-host. Yes, the Kings Score guys. We have your co-host of the Ticket Punchers coming in, Curtis Phillips, Mr. Philly Picks, said we need a home dub.
We do need a home dub, Philly Picks. It's time. We did hit the Kings money line last week. Had to play it. Had to give a little sprinkle on it when you're getting that good of odds, and it's the team that we're covering, Matt. We're going to root for them no matter what. If I'm going to root for them, I'm going to want them to win. I want success. Why not throw a couple of dollars on there to add to the fun? So, but Curtis, as the in-game host, as Matt, you do media, you get to probably your first field side experience that was something that's work, and we haven't got to watch them cap that off with a win yet. And
we need it.
There's parts of my job that end like my shift ends at the last 50 seconds of the game, or how should I say this? My not shift. I'm done with activations within the game after like 2 or 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, because we haven't been in a spot to win. Like I have a couple of activations that are like, all right, Kings fans. And there's depending on what the score is, I have 2 different reads that I do. And we haven't been in a spot in these home games yet outside of the overtime loss that came the way that it did, but it was a tied game there and went straight to overtime, and then it ended too quickly. We were supposed to go with an activation there. But what I'm getting at is, Matt, I haven't even gotten to do things that I'm going to be able to do after a win. We have a whole end of game thing that we do with a player address and stuff. So I'm really, 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 really hoping I can have the in-game host feeling and experience come with a win as well. I only had losses, feeling like bad luck.
No, we need it bad. It does make you feel like bad luck. There's thought of like, hey, do I just watch it from home? It seems like we're winning all the games and watching from home. But like you said, we got to be there. It's our job. I'm excited to be there. But little tease here. When we come back from break, we got to talk about a news article. So Philly brings up a good point. Like you said, you need a home dub, especially when you're one of the teams in this league who has the most, probably the most consistent turnout per home game so far with the most excitement.
I think we're going to get Philly Picks to join the show here at the very end and give us his set of UFL picks for this week.
I'd love that. Philly needs to get into the handicap in UFL. We know that's a whole untapped market.
In the UFL too. Philly got what, 3 weeks left, counting this weekend. These weekends.
An untapped market. Come on, Philly. Let's do it. A lot
of good lines, Phil. Come on now.
But we do got to go to break. When we come back, I want to touch on an article here around the UFL about some attendance issues. And like Philly said, if we don't start winning at home, there could be some serious, repercussions here, not only in the UFL, but in Louisville as well.
Don't tell me that.
It's going to be, it's a little nerve-wracking across the UFL right now. Like I said, here just a few moments. We'll be right back on the 3-Man Front.
Hell yeah.
Welcome back here on the 3-Man Front. Matt Childress, Roman Kelly, taking you up into the second segment, up until about the 14-minute mark before we take our final break, heading into the final half of the show here. Roman Kelly stepping out for just a moment. He'll be brought back in right when he gets back. Just a few minutes here. But before he gets back, I'll jump into that article that I teased before the break once he comes back. I'm a little nervous, guys. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and sunshine pump on this show about, I'm excited about the Kings. They, are only half a game out of the playoff spot once again this week. Dallas Renegades go down as well, who were ahead of us at the moment. So you have a good chance of making it. Right now, the cards are in your favor. You hold basically you hold your own destiny. You create your own destiny. You create your own history here. You are capable of making the playoffs. You just got to win. You just got to win. But the issues with this team at home stand out significantly. It seems like the offensive end of play isn't, as well at home for some reason. I don't know if it's the nerves. I don't know if it's the practice regimen. I don't know if it's the travel. I don't really know what it is, but I know that Roman and I got into it a little bit earlier. Oops, I forgot that the music was still playing. Sorry about that. I know that Roman and I got into it earlier, but there is still a part of me that is nervous about taking this game against the DC Defenders at home, giving them, a game where you force 4 turnovers and beat them away. They're going to have some fire lit under them. They had a chance to clinch a playoff spot last weekend, didn't do it, and now they're in a 3-way tie for first, second, and third place in the playoffs. There's only one playoff spot open, so the Kings have to steal that. Like I said, you create your own history. You hold your own destiny. You have the ability to go take it for yourself, but you have to do it, and it starts at home. If you can win this home game on Saturday, you are almost in the driver's seat of making it into the playoffs without a complete blunder. And you have a good shot because 2 of the teams that hold playoff spots currently, I think it's the Defenders and Orlando, both play each other twice to end the season. So it comes down to the fact where 2 of those teams that are ahead of you could possibly both lose once. If one of them loses twice, that makes a huge, huge difference. Huge difference. But Roman Kelly back here with us now.
Did I say something I shouldn't have?
I don't know. So in the text I texted you in the break, I don't know if you did or not because your camera and audio cut out for like half a second in the middle of your point. And it was like, I was like, did he just say something I thought he said and I wasn't paying full attention? So like, that's why I texted. I actually don't know. Maybe you didn't. And I just caught it off.
I don't think so. I might have. It might have slipped, but I've never slipped. I haven't slipped once on the radio yet.
If so, like I said, it cut out. So it wasn't even like the full thing. I was just like, oh, did he just say something? Like
it must have been a cutout, a half a word that was.
Like I said, I think it was just a bad timed cutout. So it sounded, you know what I mean? Like, but no, I think you're good. I was just asking to see if you had, but I want to bring this article up to you, Roman. There has been an issue throughout the UFL in terms of.
I just got a text saying that they heard the same thing.
Well, look, we all have done it. I've done it multiple times. I think we're all good.
That's my first slip. I don't even remember what I said.
I mean, I think I know what you said, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, no need to repeat it.
No need to repeat it. But like, I think it's cool. I mean, we're all good. We'll all just we'll be good. It's fine. We're all good. But there's an article around the UFL this week that a lot of people have been a little nervous about where this league is going. Not for us though. There is an issue with the kind of homegrown markets, the ones that are not new in the league. The Houston Gamblers, the DC Defenders, the Dallas Renegades, the Stallions, and the Battlehawks are the ones listed by name. The teams in this league that are not expansion teams are having historically low attendance for the last 3 seasons now. The DC Defenders are down from 13,282 people per game in 2025 to less than 9,000 per game this season. That's a 34% drop.
Why?
St. Louis,
that?
I don't know. Especially because that's the biggest one for me because that's the league leader. That's the one who's had the most success. They're just coming off of a championship last season. So it's one where you think, okay, is the kind of fire of a new professional team coming to these areas kind of dying out in the second season? Are people not caring as much? Is the success of, maybe the Commanders, maybe kind of watering this down a little bit? St. Louis Battlehawks, 29,259 people down to 23,000. That's not even, there's still 23,000 people in their team. That's St. Louis. That's a football town. Miss the Rams dearly. I mean, that's a 20% decrease, but they're still bringing in 23,000 people. I don't think you can complain about that too much. The Birmingham Stallions. This is the one that makes most sense because they've been the most disappointing team in the league, I think, this year so far. with how much hype. I mean, we had James Larson on the show, but week 1, and this man was basically glazing the Birmingham Stallions staff, roster. This is the best team in the league. And they've had I think they're 2-4, 2-5 right now. They've had a really rough start to the season. They were at 18,340 last year and since collapsed to 8,000 per game. The Houston Gamblers, one that I don't even think we really need to mention. They've been near the bottom of the league since they've been here, only at around 5,000 fans per game. The one thing that is a common denominator for all these teams, they're in professional sports markets. All of these teams, besides St. Louis, have a professional football team within, around the area code. Well, Birmingham. Birmingham is also one. Why do we keep pushing these spring teams into these markets that already have a professional football team? It doesn't work. They already have something to root for. One being Houston. Houston, it hasn't worked in its history so far. Why do we keep doing this, Roman?
I don't know. I'd rather see a team in Alaska or Hawaii.
Like they announced that like next season, or is it 2028, Oklahoma City's getting added to the roster. There's going to make, they're going to add 2 more teams. Oklahoma City, great venue for this. No football team there.
Love college football around there.
Love college football. They love professional sports. The Thunder
have been. Go get the ex-Oklahoma players, ex-Oklahoma State players, bring them together. That could help.
Give it to the smaller markets that don't have. Like I've made this point before. This is why minor league baseball is so much fun across the country. Is because you put these feeder teams into cities that don't have professional sports to draw up ticket sales, to draw up fan interest. Because hey, your favorite team, if there's a really great prospect on the Reds that isn't ready for major league play, guess what? Down here in Louisville, you can go watch Sal Stewart hit 40,000 home runs, and you can watch a guy who's going to have a guaranteed MLB career play for a minor league team. It's fun to watch. So when you put these teams in these major, sports markets, it just seems like they historically die. So this is one where I think we're going to see a lot more, not rebuilds, but I think we're going to see a lot more, movements across the country. We're going to see these teams up and moving all over the place. And I think this is an experimental league. I think that Mike Rapoli has shown that he's not afraid to kind of bring these teams down, bring them back down to earth, and move them around the country. Because like I said, it's not a traditional football league where you have the same roster year in and year out and you're building constantly. There's a new roster every season. So moving these teams around isn't that big of a deal. It is a logistical issue, so they'll have to figure that out. I don't see how this league survives if you're constantly moving teams around all the time. But there definitely some changes do need to be made. And it feels good knowing that Louisville is one of the, the league leaders in attendance here and, at least attendance consistency. I feel like there's been games where Grant, and I both went to, and I was like, gosh, I'm kind of worried about if people show out or not. And it's consistently 11,000, 12,000. Like people are showing out. They really like this team. Is this something that makes you worry going into next season, Roman?
No.
Not at all.
Nope. I think it'll improve. We've had successful crowds. We're going to end our season with 2 home wins, Matt. They're going to be, I think the fans will go up by, 1.5% there. I think we're not double, but just about. I think that you're going to start seeing 15K next year. It's just a matter of time because they're going to go grab a couple of Louisville guys. They're going to go grab a couple of, NFL guys that can turn some eyes. And I mean, I think they're one big name away from kind of solidifying that. And it doesn't even have to be a U of L name, but man, imagine they do bring in a Malik Cunningham type, right? Mm-hmm. That could be huge. Jack Plummer plays year 2 in UFL at the Kings or something like that. There's going to be ways to get more Kings fans in. They're also going to do the thing with the UK guys as well. They're going to go get a couple of ex-UK guys, see if they can bring them in for the sake of that internal fan base that you have. And then it's just a matter of stringing a few wins together here at the end of the year to kind of keep that overall exciting. We had a team above 500. Fans came out. It was engaging. It was exciting. It's in the good weather time of the year. There's no other football, and you still get to watch ex-Louisville and UK guys. That's a big positive for us if you can end the season with some home wins.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Like we said earlier before the break, Philly Picks is right. You need to start getting these home wins together, especially if you want to make any chance of making the playoff. You got to at least rally off 2 home wins here in this home stretch, these last 3 games. It has to happen. You got to win these games. But I think you're right. I think that Louisville is a market enough that's a little untapped here, especially in football, that we don't have anything else really competing against it. It's something fun to do in the spring. We've already seen that the fans out here are fully bought into this environment and fully bought into this kind of situation of it's also a fantastic venue to go watch a game at, especially football. I mean, it's so personal. You feel like you're really, even if it's only 8,000 fans there, it sounds so loud. People are really into it. It's such an exhilarating event. Maybe the product on the field isn't the best, but the fans are engaged. I'm engaged. It's a lot of fun to go watch for the family. You get to tailgate in the spring. It's warm outside. You get to burn the dogs, bring the burgers out, drink a couple beers, and then go into a great venue, watch a football game. I think that if the Kings make the playoffs, attendance stays about the same next season. I think if they don't make the playoffs and we don't see one of those kind of bigger U of L or UK names come on the roster, it's kind of similar to this season where the main players are all people that people don't really know. Even if there's a confidence in us that, this team is going to be pretty good, I will say that I think the attendance will go down. But I also think that the staff would understand that, hey, if we don't make the playoffs, we gotta bring guys in to keep that attention, right? We can't bring in a Billy Snell and then cut him. We can't bring in, a Malik Cunningham and then cut him. We can't, we got to keep these guys on our roster, keep these guys coming, because at the end of the day, this league and this team survives by attendance, and the fans own this league. Like, if we want to keep it here, I know they're doing their best to partner with the NFL, make it a developmental league so it's here for the long run. At the end of the day, if people aren't coming to the games, it's not going to survive. So I think that the staff is smart enough to understand that, they'll figure it out. They'll either make the playoffs and, it'll keep going. The attendance will keep to rise and it'll keep staying here. The excitement will, the buzz will be around the stadium. You'll get the off-season talk this year. People will be more in tune with it. These names will be more popular now. So there will be a lot more fan engagement in the offseason. Or if you don't, your target is, hey, this guy hasn't done well in the NFL so far. Local name, a lot of people around here love him. Bring him in, give him a trial. At least send out a tweet or something with a graphic with his face with him in a Kings jersey. Get people excited in the offseason. Yeah. There's going to be a lot more marketing for it in the second year. Roman, you work with a team. I know you know this. There's a lot of offseason plans already. People I've talked to in the UFL already have this discussion of what the Kings are going to do in the offseason this year. It's already going on. So I'm excited to see what we do. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you got to win these home games. You got to make a good push for the end of the season if you really want to guarantee that success in the second year.
Capitalize on all of the things that learn from your mistakes. It's trial and error in year one. And you had a lot of successful aspects to it. Build on those, improve what you can, start doing more with the marketing. I think the UFL as a whole needs to start I say this, it's easier said than done, but you need to try to go get some like Phillip Rivers, they're never going to go and do this, but if you can go get an ex-quarterback that has that big name, that's how you get a lot of eyes in on games. Talking about ex-quarterback, if you get 2 or 3 ex-NFL quarterbacks, who actually were proven, but now they're old men who maybe just still want to go out there and sling it. I think that could be huge. I think that could be something they need to try their hardest to go and do going forward for a league-wide TV type of stance. And for the sake of the King, go and get you a couple, go and get you another Tyler Hudson, go and get you another Benny Snell, go and get you a Jalen Mitchell or something like that, right? Some old U of L running back or something like that maybe just going to be your third string or something. See if he could still play. Keep those names in, but also improve where you can.
I think you're completely right. They're going to make some moves in the offseason. Like we said before, this league is not cemented in with every team you get. We'll have a completely different team next year, barring 12 different guys. They'll be locked down, and you'll get to retain in the next season. But it'll be exciting to see what we do in this offseason. We got to go to one more final break. Here in the next segment, Roman already touched on it. It's, here in the middle of the segment, we'll have Roman's co-host on the Ticket Punchers, handicapper here at the Big X, Curtis Phillips, Philly Picks, will hum on the show. Give us UFL picks for this week. Roman, before we go, give a little intro for Philly Picks here on the show. For anybody listening here that hasn't listened to the Ticket Punchers, what do we got
coming out of this break? coming out of this break, Matt, we will be having one of my favorite people in the media scene. We've been trying to be on the rise together within it in some years. Our first gig officially in the scene was together. That's how I met him, doing some marketing stuff on the sportsbook side of things. Curtis Phillips has been betting for quite some time. He's been handicapping for quite some time as well. And he's got a large variety of knowledge. Big football guy, gets to a lot of in-game aspects with his statistician stuff that he does in the Indiana, Kentucky region. So he's been watching the Kings all season long. He's been watching the other Kings, the games that the teams that the Kings play against. He's been paying attention to all of those. He's been doing a little bit of betting of his own on the Kings, I believe, as well. So we'll have to see how the research looks for him in these last few games. But I'm excited to get Curtis Phillips on. Great handicapper on the Ticket Puncher Show. Great co-host of mine on the Ticket Puncher Show. And it'll be fun to get him in here for a little bit.
We will have him here on the final segment of the show. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes with the three-man front. Welcome back in. Three-man front. Roman Kelly, Matt Childress, and coming here with us in just a second, brand new guest, first time on the show, Curtis Phillips.
AKA Philly Picks.
Curtis, my man, it's wonderful to have you on. You got the Kings gear on already. Ready for this weekend? First time on the show. Appreciate having you on. I'm excited to get your picks for the day. Before we get in here, go ahead and, give the listeners here who maybe haven't listened to Ticket Punchers. Roman already introduced you a little bit. Tell us a little about yourself real quick.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Matt and Roman, for both having me on today. It's a special honor to be on the three-man front. I watch you all each and every week. So very excited to join you all today. Just a little background about myself. As y'all said, my name is Curtis Phillips. I do a little bit of handicapping on the Ticket Puncher show, co-host of the Ticket Punchers here with Roman. Been betting for 4 or 5 years now. So I'm also a sports statistician where I travel to different football games, volleyball games, basketball games, and do play-by-play coverage. So sports really my passion, and yeah, just glad to join the show here. So yeah,
glad to have you in, Curtis. Go ahead, Matt.
I'll say, until Roman brought that up, I actually did not know that was what your main job was. That's a really cool. How did you get into that?
Yeah, so a few years ago when because a lot of people in what I do need a college degree. I obviously went to college for a little bit, dropped out. So sports has always been my passion. So I really was just searching for some sports jobs and came across Genius Sports is the company I work for. But yeah, came across that. They didn't reach out to me, so I had to reach back out to them a few weeks later, and they got back to me, saw my knowledge with what I was covering, and they accepted me. So that's actually not my main job, but that's what I do on the side for about half the year. So
it's a really cool job. I think a lot of people listening would love to be a part of something like that. Like I said, I'm really excited to have you on your show. I'm excited to get your picks out here on the show, as long as, as well as Roman and I. But before we get into that, I do have to make a shout out real quick to the UFL Kings Court guys. They have 50+ tickets to give out this weekend. If you'll DM them straight on Twitter at UFL Kings Court to select yours. I think that he said they're about $12 a piece. You'll get to travel down. This is for the game against the Columbus Aviators on Sunday, May 31st. You DM those guys, Instagram, Twitter. I think they also have Facebook. I'm not on Facebook.
Last regular season game of the year.
Yes, last regular season game of the year. So if you do want to get down there, DM those guys. They'll get you a really cheap ticket, and you can travel with the rest of the fan base. Like I said, at UFL Kings Court, DM them to find your tickets there. But we'll go ahead and jump into it. Final segment here. We got a couple, 5 minutes left. We'll get into some people's favorite segment of this show, the pick segment. Tomorrow is the first game of the weekend, Friday at 8 p.m. on Fox. The Orlando Storm take on the Dallas Renegades. It's a 1.5-point spread. Dallas is a -126 favorite. The over-under is at 45.5. Curtis, guest on the show. First time, I'll let you go first. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, so I'm actually on the Storm here. I see right now here on a few different sports books the +2.5. I love the +2.5 if you want to take the Storm there. If you want to just play the money line at a good plus money price there, +110, I like that as well. Storm, as we know, one of the best teams in the UFL, and they've been pretty stellar on the road, won every home game. It's been some close ones, but even versus a Renegades team, which I know they're fighting for their playoff hope. So even in I think which should be a very close game, I think the Storm will do enough here to cover and win outright. So I like the Storm.
The Renegades are on a 4-game skid right now. Does that make you nervous at all about this pick that, maybe this is their get back week?
Just a little bit. Like I said, they need this for their playoff wins. Don't want to go to 3-5 here. So at home, I know they'll be a little up for this one. I just think Storm will have a little bit more offensively to ease it out and get the job done.
I like it. Roman, what do you like for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I'm going to try to find the 2.5, the plus 2.5 if I can. I need to look at the injury report, though, Matt, because I don't know. Dallas shouldn't even be favored in this game.
Yeah, after losing 4 in a row, I don't see how you get favored against the Orlando Storm. I get it is in Dallas, but at the same time, this is a team that hasn't really shown out in a lot of their games, so I don't really know how we're taking home field advantage for this team at the moment.
I'm going to play the plus 2.5 for the Storm. I'm seeing 1.5 right now. I also like the over as well. I think the Storm that offense flows here in this one, and the Dallas offense hasn't been bad. It's been the defense that hasn't been able to stop anything. I think that they'll score enough to kind of accommodate that over there. Maybe like a 27-15 kind of a outing.
I don't mind it at all. I'm kind of going to follow Philly on this one, except I'm taking the spread on this game because I am a little bit more nervous on Dallas getting their get back game in this, especially at home. So I'm taking for me, it's 1.5. If I can find it somewhere at 2.5, I'd rather take that. But the Orlando Storm just have one of the best red zone defenses in this league. So I feel like Dallas is really going to struggle to put points up on the board. So I am a little afraid of the over under the situation, but because these two are really great offenses that can get going. But I'm taking the Orlando Storms. I'm taking the spread at 1.5 on this one. Next game we have
27-18 there.
Oh, true. Next game is ours, Saturday at noon on ABC. I didn't realize ABC's a major network for this game. DC Defenders are away here at the Louisville Kings. Spread, they're favored by 6 at home, even though after just coming off and getting absolutely hornswoggled in their own field by the Louisville Kings. Like I said, 6-point favorite, minus 251 to win, over under 45.5. Philly, what do you like in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to lean to a player prop for this one. Haven't taken any player props in the UFL this year, but I do like Chandler Rogers 200+ passing yards. I know he's been using his feet a lot lately. And last week, he barely went over 200, but we also had four takeaways on the other end, so offense wasn't on the field as much. I do think in a game like this, I'll be realistic. I do think the defenders will get into some type of lead, and we're going to be sort of forced to pass it. I think we can still have a balanced attack, but I think we're going to get a good amount of passes from Chandler Rogers, and I think he gets to the 200+ passing yard mark. So that'll be my bet for this one.
I like that pick. Ron, what do you got?
I'm running it back.
Kings money
taking
line.
It back-to-back weeks.
Kings money line back-to-back.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna not throw a lot on the money line, Matt. My true pick, I should say, is the plus 5.5. Because I don't. You can never be too confident when it's the same exact opponent in back-to-back weeks. You know they're going to adjust. You know you're going to have to do some things a little bit differently because they're going to be expecting what worked for you last week. That kind of does worry me a little bit, but the way that this offense looked in that second half, I think that gets carried on into this game for their first home win of the season. We're playing that plus 200. We're going to play the plus 5.5 for a little bit of safety as well, Matt. But I love the 200 yards out of Chandler Rogers. I really just think that the Kings, the offense showed it can score against good teams, against good defenses, right? And if Chandler Rogers is throwing dots like that into the end zone and we're running the ball, I hate to say it, I hate to be a homer here. We've got the best offense in the league when that's happening. I'm going to trust that carries over into this game here for our first home win of the season, Matt. Can't lose them all.
You can't, especially when you're in a situation where you desperately need to win these games out here in the home stretch. Sorry. I don't mind the pick at all. I like the pick. I'm going towards more of a prop as well, along with Philly, except I'm taking a touchdown score in this game. I feel like in the UFL, these are a little bit easier to pick.
First touchdown scoring prop of the year.
I'm taking a touchdown score this game. I feel like in this league, it's a little bit easier to predict who's going to get the ball. These guys already have their favorite receivers, their favorite running backs. I would say Tariq Black with the game that he just had, but I think the DC defenders are going to put a major adjustment on him. I think that they're going to put their best cornerbacks on Tariq Black. They're going to play a lot of man coverage on him.
Yeah, I'm
going James Robinson. I think James Robinson is going to get in the end zone this game. It's going to be at -115.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Not a juicy pick, but you're going to make some money off this. I think James Robinson gets in the end zone this game. That's going to be my pick for this game.
I love that.
Come on, J-Rob. Make us some money. I'm tailing that one.
Me too.
Next game right after ours on Saturday at 3 p.m. on ABC, Houston Gamblers versus St. Louis Battlehawks, -7.5 spread, -7.5 spread towards the Battlehawks, -380 money line, over-unders at 44.5. Philly, what do you got?
Nothing official. I guess a hard lean would be to possibly the under. Battlehawks been a pretty good defensive team
Give me that under
at home. We know the Gamblers aren't as good offensively, so yeah, I'll lean to that under 44.5.
They're terrible.
They're bad.
Philly, you can say it.
They're bad.
Okay.
I think that we're all on agreement here. I think 44.5 points is an egregious line in here. I think this is free money. I'm taking the under as well. Roman, is that what you're on?
I want to see if we can get a team total.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it yet. I wanted a team total in this one if I could find one. DraftKings, they've got the most, and I'm not seeing one in this one. So we're going to play the under 44.5. I don't think Houston's going to score enough to get going in this one. And I don't think the Battlehawks are going to completely blow them out of the water. I think they cover. I think they're still under the 30-point mark, and they keep the Gamblers under that 13-point mark. So gonna rock with the under 44.5 in this one. But if I can get that Gamblers team total on one of these books, we're gonna check Bet365. I will be taking that because it's probably gonna be 15.5, 16.5.
It's gotta be low,
maybe even 17.5
in that range.
And then that's too high for that's a low over under for a team, but that's too high for the Gamblers going up against the Battlehawks on the road.
Last game of the weekend, Sunday, 1 p.m. on Fox. Columbus Aviators take on the Birmingham Stallions, two teams that have been extremely disappointing in this season. Birmingham Stallions got to win this weekend, so they're kind of on the up and up. They're -3.5-point favorites. They're -175 to win, over under at 45.5. Philly, what do you got for the last game of the week?
I love the over here. The opposite of last game, two high-scoring teams. Aviators, maybe the worst defensive team in the whole UFL. I'm going over that 45.5.
I don't mind it. Roman, what do you got?
I'll go with the over 45.5 as well. I think there's going to be some points.
I don't mind that at all. I think I'm I don't know. This Birmingham Stallions team is really disappointing me. I think I'm actually going to go with the Columbus Aviators this weekend. I'm not going to go money line. I'm going to go the spread. I like the 3 points there. You can at least get a push if it doesn't work out, unfortunately. But I think I'm going to take them at plus 3 points this week. I think they upset the Birmingham Stallions this week. I think it's been a very disappointing team. AJ McCarron really just hasn't gotten that team going so far. We look like they have the athletes on there to be the better team on the field, but it's been a coaching problem for them so far. They haven't been able to get it done. Well, that's all the games here for this weekend. We do got to get out of here. Before we get out of here, Philly, I wanted to go ahead and let you on the show. Give out your socials, plug whatever you want, podcast, whatever you want. Philly, go ahead and let the listeners out there, let them know. Where can they hear Philly Picks outside of the Ticket Punchers?
Yeah, so on Instagram, we are at Philly Picks. That's two Y's in Philly. On Instagram, X also, _ CPhilly24. Now, I forgot to mention, I'm also a co-host on the Philly and Fred show, me and one of my good friends. So I'm a co-host on there. We're Philly and Fred on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, excuse me. So that's where you can find all of my socials. So thank you all.
You'll also hear him, like I said, on the Ticket Punchers. You guys go every day of the week, right? Besides Monday and Thursday. So you can hear them on
Thursday, yep.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Gonna be Philly hosting tomorrow. If you guys are up for it, I'll be at the Bats game, 5:15 call time. So you're gonna hear Philly Picks on his first hosting experience on the radio tomorrow. Maybe gonna have Matt help him through that.
Listen to that at 5:30. I'll be on there with him. Philly, you're gonna do a great job. Excited to hear you, man. I'm glad to have you on. Appreciate you for coming on, Philly.
Thank y'all for having me.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week here on the Three Man Front. Appreciate you guys listening in. Like I said, one more shout out at UFL Kings Corner. If you want to get cheap tickets to the game on May 31st against the Columbus Aviators, they will be traveling out there with the fans. Get them together. DM them on Twitter or Instagram. Like I said, I think they have a Facebook at UFL Kings Corner. You get those tickets for pretty cheap. But this is going to be it for us. Thank you, Rowan, for coming out. I know you take time out of your day for this. Grant will be back with us next week. This has been the Three Man Front. Appreciate you guys for listening in. Go Kings!
Hell yeah.